What if I told you that there is vital information that is publicly accessible, but yet far to reach? The only reason people kind of prevent, or they're staying away from this information that can be absolutely vital to their salvation. Yes, I said salvation. I know what you're thinking. Oh, is this a religious video, bro? Listen, I at least at the very best, this is going to be an interesting video. Okay, so please stick with it. If you're an open-minded, rational person, just listen to what I gotta say. Now, again, rational, you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta be rational to hear this crap. I'm sure you're gonna say some shit like that, and that's disrespectful, but still, just stick with me and listen to this theory. Vital information to your salvation, even all of humanity's survival. Doesn't matter if you're the richest person on earth, even if you build like a bunker beneath the highest mountain, you will still freaking die. That is actually the only subject that everyone in the world collectively agree with. That is absolutely certain that everyone on earth, every living thing, will experience death. In fact, the other day I was kind of scared, because I think of death a lot. You might not think that's healthy, but I believe it is, because it allows us to stay disciplined and focus. Yet I am the laziest person known to man. Anyway, point being is, I was thinking about it, and I was kind of scared because my heart was hurting or something on my chest. It doesn't hurt today, thank God. But yesterday. Right? And I was like panicking and paranoid and everything. Like, oh my God, am I really gonna cease to exist and haven't achieved anything that I plan to achieve? Anyway, point being is, nobody will escape it, right? It can be in any sudden moment, it can come. Vital information that is far from accessible, yet it is. Because people who carry this information are discredited. They're demonized. They're attacked from every way have you. Okay? Matter of fact, let me give you a couple of things here. Let me say this about these very same people that I'm talking about. They carefully preserve this information through tradition, openly shared for over a millennium, systematically prevented from serious examination through the deliberate destruction of the credibility of its carriers. And I'm talking about Muslims, and I am talking about prophecies, and I feel like many of the prophecies have been fulfilled, which scares me even further. It scares a lot of people, and they should be scared, because as we know, there have been an increase in natural disasters in the recent years, not to mention the tension between very great, powerful countries, and World War III knocking on our window like a mythical creature, Slender Man, for example, looking straight at us, talking about, hey, let me in. I like to be your friend. It's scary times, guys. There's a place in Georgia, the country, not the state, a place that is mystical, that is historic. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I can't really remember the name of it, so it is significant when it comes to history. The great Cyrus, or Cyrus the Great, built a wall there many years ago, or one of his descendants, I guess. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, they built that wall to prevent other empires from coming into their territory. But that's not the wall I'm talking about. It is a very well-known wall. I just can't remember the name of it, but that's not the wall I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a barrier. Cyrus the Great is considered to be a man that is written in the Quran. And the Quran mentioned a man by the name of Dhul Qarnayn, which means the man with two horns, or the one with two horns. And some scholars believe that this man is in fact Alexander the Great. I, myself, and many other scholars believe that is actually talking about Cyrus the Great. And Cyrus the Great is the founder not only of the Persian Empire, but of the religion that is Zoroastrian. It's a very long name, and I can't pronounce it. And the principles, the very foundation, before it was altered throughout the years, is very resembling the principles and beliefs that Muslims believe today. And the reason why that is because Cyrus the Great, as Muslims believe, was in fact a Muslim and a follower of the Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam, Abraham. And he would travel throughout the world, from the west to the east, and how the Quran describes it, that he once went and saw a group of people. It doesn't. The Quran doesn't really say exactly where he, like the actual place, right? Which is why it's just, it's a theory. I believe that this place in Georgia, in the Caucasus Mountains, is actually the place that we're talking about. And he met a group of people that doesn't know how to speak, or at least they can't understand their language, but eventually was able to translate. And they told him about a large group of people, two tribes by the name of Gog and Magog. I'm sure you guys have heard of Gog and Magog in the Christian theology. If you're Christian, or if you're not, you possibly are a Muslim and you know all about this. But point being is, they told him about Gog and Magog, and they would come and they would destroy things and eat their crops and kill their people and so on. So Cyrus the Great, as a righteous, humble man, told them to use their own strength and build a barrier that he will tell them exactly, he will supervise it. Like he told them exactly what to do, right? And using iron and copper, which is very significant. And the reason why I say it's very significant, as you know, the Earth's core is made of iron. All right, it's made of iron, and what does it do exactly? The Earth core not only does it stabilize the Earth, it's also creating a magnetic field around the Earth, protecting it from the radiations of the sun, and the sun flares and meteorites and all these other things. All right, that could be a danger to our planet. All right, like iron is strongly ferromagnetic, one of the few elements that generates and responds to magnetic fields, forms the Earth's core, which generates our planetary magnetic field, our natural shield against solar radiation and cosmic particles. Essentially, Earth itself uses iron as a barrier against external energy. Copper, the best non-precise electrical conductor. It is a natural conductor, electrical conductor, exceptional at blocking electromagnetic fields. Faraday cages are often made of copper mesh, blocks radio waves, electromagnetic pulses, and electric fields almost completely. Now, I'm sure you know what I'm getting at with this. I believe, and there is other people that believe this, for example, like the city of Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis are highly advanced and they disappeared, right? Nobody knows where Atlantis is. But some people believe that it never existed. Some people do believe that it did exist, and they were highly technologically advanced compared to the rest of the world. Well, I disagree. I think, in fact, not only Atlantis, if they actually exist, I'm not sure exactly. What I mean to say is that at a time that we were, in fact, highly advanced, more so than today, than modern day. But due to natural disasters like the Ice Age, everything was covered up. So they're probably there underneath us. We just don't know because, thousands of years of, natural forming and disasters covered it all up. And possibly they just turned to dust themselves. What I'm saying is that I believe that the king, Cyrus the Great, the emperor, was a highly intelligent man with gifts from God, capable of building an electrical magnetic field or some type of device that created an electromagnetic barrier to keep away Gog and Magog. And what I'm saying is, Gog and Magog, these humanoid but not entirely human creatures with powerful strength, like 1,000 men, I guess, for each person, or 100 men. I guess I'm exaggerating. Point being is that they are from another dimension. All right, they're entirely from a different dimension. And the king, the little name, Cyrus the Great, for argument's sake, built this structure to keep them away. Right now, if you don't know, there's a U.S. base in the Caucasus Mountains, a U.S. base, and also a Russian base in Georgia, an entirely different country, for no reason. There is no logical reason for why they are there. And I think it's because they detected through their satellites or whatever the hell else a radiation, a like magnetic pulse, and a very significant one for them to actually be there and try to get this ancient technology. And they think it's useful somehow. But what they don't know, and possibly do know, is that it is a barrier. And maybe they're there to protect it from ever opening. I don't freaking know. What I do believe that something's going to happen and Gog and Magog will be released to the rest of the world. This is information prophesied by the Prophet ﷺ, and it's also in the Quran, and it will happen, unfortunately. But that's far in the future after, we're very close to it. I mean, hopefully not. I'm praying that it will never happen, but I feel like the reason why all these other countries building nuclear weapons is because they do intend on using them. Like, why else would they build it, right? I do believe that there is a society or a entity, I don't know what else to call these people, working in the background, trying to heavily reduce the population of the earth so they're capable of controlling us. They have been controlling us through mainstream media. Again, like I said, Islam and Muslims are being demonized for an entirely different reason than people think. Oh, terrorism and all this bullshit. All false flags. Absolutely. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't align with our belief for us to kill innocent people. Like, it doesn't make, well, I don't know why I did that. Whoa. No, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. It doesn't make sense. You're not going to heaven if you kill an innocent person. You will not receive God's mercy for doing that. It doesn't make sense. And anyway, point being is, if you connect the lines, you can see it's because we know a whole lot of things. And our faith is strong, and people are naturally attracted to it. People who are actually rational enough to do their research and study it are naturally attracted to it. And coming back to what I said, it doesn't matter if you create a bunker. I mean, you will not prevent yourself, because again, the prophecies, like an epidemic you have never seen before, stronger than any known epidemic in history, will come, unfortunately, I think, one of these days. And as well as more natural disasters, as we've seen in recent years, and including a nuclear holocaust. And I hope not, but that is what it is. Some things have to end. The earth will end. I mean, if it's not this way, then it's probably a meteor from the sky, which is probably what most people actually see as highly likely than anything else. Maybe. Anyway, at least you gotta say this is an interesting video. I mean, come on, isn't it? It's a very interesting topic. I was doing the research and studying this stuff and decided, hey, let me make a video about it. People probably enjoy it. It's weird. You might not take it seriously. I highly suggest that you at least research this. But yeah, peace.